Hey there, fellow readers. This is Rambling Collector here, back with another book review for all of you today. And we're going to be diving into a very unique story, at least in my opinion. We are going to be talking about the novel The Big City by Scott Reeves. I actually finished this one within a week, while I was also doing the reviews of the past 4 days that you all have seen lately. This one here I finished on a Friday, and initially I wanted to get it done that same day with this review. Unfortunately, I was dealing with a headache at the time and had to take a little breather, but now we're finally here. So this one was very interesting, especially for how short of a novel it was, being only at 210 pages in total. But let's talk about it. So first of all, the big city. It shows Earth in a dystopian future where the Earth is now covered in a sprawling and overcrowded megacity, with buildings reaching up to 1,000 floors or possibly more, and technology on a steady decline due to war. So already this universe has a very packed history to it, with it being this sprawling mega city. Like, picture Coruscant from Star Wars if you want a reference material. As well as the decline in technology, that feels like a call out to Warhammer. Then again, it is a post-war world, so take it how you will. But this is all about Jed, our main character here. Someone who's been a resident of the big city for a long time and longs to actually see the outside world. Not so much just outside the city. He wants to see greener pastures. He wants to see open fields, the bright blue sky, sunlight, anything that is not a city. So, in my opinion, this makes him a very highly relatable character, someone who is just tired of the constant repetition of the big city, and who longs for a glimpse of not only sunlight, but also greener pastures. Which is quite literal in his case, considering, again, the Earth is just one massive, sprawling mega city. But his journey through both finding and exploring his new paradise was both interesting and in some cases incredibly wholesome to read, especially his interactions later on with the dwarf Max, the professor, and his future wife Erica. I gotta say, Jed was a very interesting character, especially because of his whole philosophy. His whole philosophy was that he wanted to escape the clock. He wanted time to simply stop because he felt like his life had been run by the clock so much that he wanted away from it. He wanted to break the clock, in a way. He wanted time to stop and feel peaceful for one. And it's funny because he and the professor actually have a bit of an argument about this, because the professor himself is very strict on his time management. He is very strict on staying to a schedule. He wants to make sure everything runs smoothly by the clock. But again, like I said before, Jed wants to escape the clock, which is interesting. But I'm not going to lie, though. That twist in this novel near the end had my head absolutely spinning when I first read it. And if you all want to skip that, in case of spoilers, I suggest you skip to the end of the video now. But now, let's talk about this. So, Jed and the professor and Erica explore around using a telescope. And they see multiple little islands on massive pillars and such, right? They see all these little islands inhabiting the sky, and they wonder what's on them. Well, in one case, they do find an empty sky island, but in another, they find lizards. But the most impressive part of this, the one that really had me spinning for a loop for a while, was when Jed and the professor are flying after encountering a small little island paradise. They find what looks to be a massive wall stretching from east to west as a massive horizon, right? And what they do is they find a small, or rather a large ladder and a platform leading into a rusted door. They go through this door, they find a control room, and they climb up this ladder into a trap door. When they open up the trap door, they make a shocking discovery. That being, all of them, Jed, the professor, Erica, all the inhabitants of this other world that Jed has been in the entire time, his personal paradise, is not in fact another planet like he assumes. It is in fact him being shrunken down to a microscopic level into a small cube-shaped environment a microscopic world, which would definitely solve the overcrowding problem on Earth, because it is stated in Earth's history that they never quite managed to get to space travel. So instead of going into the stars, they decided to shrink themselves down. And that alone blew my mind. They have a world shrunken down to microscopic level, along with all the people on it. They are living in a world within a world. It blew my mind when I read that. And it definitely captivated my attention to keep wanting to read more, just to find out how it was going to go. Oh my god. It blew my mind, guys. I'm not even getting there. So, let's move on to random thoughts, shall we? So, random thoughts. I don't know about any of you guys, but I'm not sure if I've ever read a science fiction piece that involves shrinking down to microscopic level. I could be wrong on that, and if you can quote me on that. But regardless, that felt like a unique twist. And honestly, I think a lot of what makes this novel relatable is how a lot of us long for that escape. We long to escape from the daily grind of our lives to gain just that little tiny piece of paradise and that little bit of freedom that we so crave. And I gotta tell you, that made this novel extremely relatable to me. That is one of the major things, because a lot of times, that is why I enjoy reading so much. It offers me an escape into another world and allows me to just take my mind away from reality, even if it's for a couple hours or even an entire day when I can manage it. And sorry about that. I feel like a lot of fiction writers understand this, and they make their world so fantastic, or in some cases so understandable, that it allows your mind to escape into that world in the written page. It allows you to actually be there alongside these characters. And I feel like Scott Reeves really understood that. It's a fascinating concept, in my opinion. It's one that isn't used very often, in my opinion. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to this novel because of this. But with that being said, let's move on to the score. So, obviously, I'm going to be giving Big City by Scott Reeves a solid 10 out of 10. It grabbed my attention from the first few pages that I read of it, and it kept me going and going, even as it was just either Jed experiencing life in his new world, exploring the actual reality of where he is right now, him falling in love, him meeting the professor. All of it captivated me from start to finish. And the fact that I managed to finish this book in a week tells me just how well it was done. And I think all of you can possibly agree as well. Funny thing though, this paperback is not the one that I have personally. I have a very different variety, that being this one right here. However, whichever one you can possibly grab, I'd say go for it. It is definitely an experience that I recommend you do not miss. Anyways, you guys, I'm rambling for a while now, so thank you once again for listening to this crazy man's ramblings. It really means a lot to me that you've stuck around this long. More importantly, if you like this video, feel free to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, or subscribe if you're interested for more. I cannot tell you guys how much of an experience it has been going through all these indie author works and trying to accomplish my goal of finishing all of them. Regardless, though, I think it's a goal worth reaching for. And I hope you all are still cheering me on for all of this. And if you have any suggestions for future reads, please feel free to let me know. It means a lot. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for listening. This is Rambling Collector signing off for now. Have a great day, fellow readers.